Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I am Ty Windisch, and I am joined as always by my persevering co-host, not exactly a dedicated morning person, although we are recording at 9 a.m., Rohan Katti. Rohan, how's it going?
You know what? Could be better. It's not even just the 9 a.m. thing, which sounds terrible because,
yeah, it's not that early.
No, it's not that. But it feels like the world is ending. Like we're getting once in a generation storms every few weeks now.
Yeah.
We just had 60-degree December weather.
Yeah.
COVID is rampaging everything again, and we're looking towards worse conditions. So, it could be better.
It could be better. It could be better. And some of those, not all of those, thankfully, things are applying to the Milwaukee Bucks right now. Thankfully, no tornadoes that we're aware of.
Good thing the Bucks play indoors, so they don't have to worry about climate change.
For a while, at least, yeah.
Until the floods.
But the Bucks, the Bucks are not immune to COVID, as basically literally no one is. We've now had 3 Milwaukee Bucks players enter protocols, most notably, obviously, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Wes Matthews was the first, and then, heartbreakingly, less than 24 hours before Donte DiVincenzo was set to make his 6-month away return, more than 6 months away from basketball return, we get that he is also in protocols, the third member of the team there. And this, of course, not the only absences the Bucks are dealing with. Also, Khris Middleton's what the Bucks are calling a hyperextended knee. He missed Wednesday's game against the Pacers after missing about half of the Boston game on Monday as well. Brook Lopez out indefinitely. Semi Ojeleye out indefinitely now. The 3-week timeline came and went. Coach Bud said he's doing better than we thought. No idea when he's going to be back. And I'm forgetting one other player, I think. Oh, DeMarcus Cousins, personal reasons away from the team too. So a lot of players unavailable right now, which is not great. The Bucks did find a way to beat the Pacers on Wednesday, which we'll talk about. But Rohan, this has been the second, I would say, just brutal stretch for the Bucks after early in the season when they basically had no bench players.
Yeah, it's now instead of having no bench players, they have one starter left. So it's gonna be a tumultuous stress, but luckily, like we talked about last episode, I think, it's kind of an easy schedule going forward.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to replicate. Obviously, the big guy, everything starts and ends with Giannis.
Yeah.
So the way that Giannis's situation is being handled is we know he is vaccinated. So we do know that.
Hopefully, semantics out here are crazy in Wisconsin for MVPs.
He even made a joke about it.
Okay. We feel good. I'm just kidding, by the way. I have been pretty confident all along, but you can never be too careful when it comes to a Wisconsin MVP.
Fair enough.
And telling the truth. We've had 2 of them burn us so far in the last 10 years. I don't want another one.
Fair enough. So let's assume that he's telling us the truth. And if he returns 2 negative tests within 24 hours, he is fine. He's good to go again. If he doesn't, it's a 10-day until he does that. So it's a minimum of 10 days.
Is there a minimum of 10 days regardless? Or if tomorrow, if he turned in 2 back-to-back, could he come back?
If tomorrow he turned in 2 back-to-back tests, he'd be fine. It's like LeBron. Okay.
Well, no, LeBron's was different though, I thought. I thought LeBron scammed his way into not being... Didn't he, wasn't it a false positive thing?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. 2 negative tests within 24 hours of the initial.
Oh, of the initial.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're already past that now, right? Or no?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Honestly.
It'll probably be a few days. It's hard to say exactly with protocols. It's murky. Everything with the Bucks timelines are murky when they do exist. But assuming maybe sometime next week, maybe by the end of next week, but we really don't know as we record on a Thursday, the 16th.
Yes.
It would be a nice Christmas present.
Yeah. Is he going to be playing on Christmas? That's a big question.
Yeah. And the answer is maybe. Yeah, we just don't know.
It's just there's a lot here, and we don't know the answer, and we can't even speculate about Wes and Dante's timeline because we have no idea what their vaccination status is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to assume anything.
No.
So I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, let's assume yes, just for the sake of optimism. If so, Wes would probably be the first to return, you would assume, because he went into protocols like 2 or 3 days before Donte and Giannis did. But
that's not the way Woj wants you to know.
Yeah, what was that? He's like, also Wes has entered. We're like, yeah, we know.
You already missed a game.
Well, you know what the wild thing was? I Googled, because I thought that too, but I was out and about over the weekend. I couldn't remember. And I Googled like Wes Matthews and went to news, and there was nothing. Like nobody reported on it. It was just like Eric Name tweeted it and it was on the broadcast and that was it. It's weird.
Wild. Yeah, it's wild with the Bucks, what you do when you don't tell anyone anything.
But they did tell people that one. Just nobody
That's
cared.
fair.
Nobody
That's
cared.
fair.
Nobody out there was like,
well, because they tell like 4 people things.
Yeah, I just don't think many national outlets were clamoring for like the Wes Matthews enters protocols article. There's just too many guys entering protocols.
Well, to be fair, we get notifications when Mason Plumlee is going in and out of protocols.
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. Good job, Bucks.
Good job, Bucks. But be safe and get well soon to all the Bucks and everyone in protocols.
And everyone in general.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on. Make sure you get your boosters.
Yep.
It might suck. It's just, come on.
It's the new flu shot. That's where we're at. People just seem so confused by the concept.
It's not like this is the only vaccine that requires boosters. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, like literally the flu shot.
Well, flu shot is
not a vaccine.
Different.
It's not a vaccine, technically.
And it's a different thing every time.
Okay. But similar in that it's just like you're going to need it. You're just going to need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
get your flu shots.
Yeah, get your flu. I need to do that still. Can I get both at once?
Yes, you can.
Like
you can indeed get both at once.
Is it 1 needle or 2 needles?
It's 2 needles, 1 in each arm.
Oh wow. I'm gonna be boosted, man. I'm gonna be out here with superpowers.
I did that. So.
Oh, look at you. Okay. The rest of the injury slate. Khris Middleton was questionable for Wednesday's game. We don't have specifics on the injury. Hopefully going to be back soon based on that, but who knows?
Can I step on my soapbox again, Ty?
I'll give you, this is a shorter pod. You have like 90 seconds.
How is this allowed? If you are running a basketball team and Khris Middleton like simultaneously like sprains his knee and ankle in camera shot in the same game, goes to take a foul so he can immediately limp to the locker room, and then you're just like, yeah, have fun trying to figure out what's wrong with him. You know, like we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you anything about what's wrong with Khris Middleton. We're just going to say he's questionable. He has a knee injury. He has a hyperextended knee. Hyperextension isn't an injury. It's not. It's like Brook Lopez's back soreness. That's not an injury. It's a symptom.
Worse. I think it's even worse than back soreness.
That's true.
I've seen other teams do the hyperextension thing. Like I've seen it reported as an injury before. Back soreness to me was a new level.
It's just like, who's benefiting from this? I've said this all before, so I'm not going to bore everyone again. But who is benefiting from this? Are the Bucks? Do they have like? Are they just like rubbing their hands together? They're like, oh boy, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Like, who cares? What does that give you?
I don't know. I'll never know. I have no answers for you.
Just tell the people who care what's happening with the players. It's not even just me. Like just general fans of the team. They deserve to know who's going to be playing in a game and why and how, and if there's an injury, how long are they going to be out? They deserve to know that, because guess what? They're ticket payers. They're not going to go to games. Have you noticed that your attendance is down, Bucks? Have you noticed that? Have you considered that maybe it's because they don't know who's playing? Is that why I get emails every game day that, oh, by the way, we have a lot of tickets for $9? Is that why?
Is it?
I don't know. You tell me, Bucks, because you clearly don't think so.
They don't. Also, out. I mentioned Shemi Ojale still. The quote, Basketball Reference lists all the injuries. It's hilarious. This is what it says. Out calf. They did say what injury this was. I don't remember. It's something in the calf, some muscle.
It was a calf strain.
Yeah.
That was the only one that they did well on.
Yeah, they were great. That was
and they've messed
except,
it up.
except then the timeline was way off. Here's what it says. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer said Ojale is, quote, going to miss some time. There we have it. And also DeMarcus Cousins out, personal reasons. We don't know. And that one we're not going to yell about.
That's understandable.
Personal reasons are personal. So unless Boogie wants to talk about it.
You shouldn't disclose that. You don't have to disclose that. Hope everything's all right, Boogie.
Unless he ends up in protocols like 2 days later. Like, remember, was that Khris earlier where he was out illness? He does not have COVID the next day, enters protocols.
Just you know what? I'm going to stop.
Yeah, but that's the situation. But the bright side, one man, well, actually multiple, but one man in particular has stepped up. If you're watching on YouTube or you've seen the title of the podcast episode, you probably already know. Jrue Holiday.
Bobby Portis, though.
Sort of Bobby Portis, yes. But Jrue Holiday has been that guy. He was that guy against Indiana. 14 assists for Jrue Holiday against the Indiana Pacers. And led this team in scoring as well. I think he had 26 points. I'm pulling up his box scores right now.
Yes, he did.
26 and 14 on 12 for 18 shooting. He's basically cut out most of his threes over the last few games. His last 4 games, he's attempted either 2 or 3 threes after 7, 6, 2 games before that, 5, another 7 in late November. This is what we wanted to see from Jrue Holiday. Cut out some of those threes. Make the shots by the basket count. I think it's probably easier to find those shots without Giannis by the basket all the time, which, again, not as a knock on Giannis. It's just the reality of playing with a superstar. But this is the Jrue we wanted to see, and I think if this guy keeps showing up, they can certainly weather the storm without Giannis, Donte, Khris, etc.
Yeah, he's playing like the basketball that everyone was like clamoring for. And that everyone is hyping him up to be before he was traded to Milwaukee when all of a sudden he became a bum. Not in my
what?
I'm just saying that was the discourse, Ty. It's like, Jrue Holiday is going to be the winning piece for this team. I'm making fun of other people.
I got you. Yeah, I understood. That tracks. That's correct.
You look so disgusted.
I was like, wow, Rohan. Jeez. I know there were some struggles, but I understand now. Yeah.
No. So it's a lot of effort. Like, he's putting in obviously a lot of effort on the defensive end. But the thing is, it's like what we talked about with PJ Tucker in the playoffs. It's like, how do you expect me to play offense if I'm like doing everything on defense? When everyone is healthy on this team, that's his primary role, right? Is just playing insane defense, otherworldly defense, just being a stopper. And if you can contribute offensively just a little bit, like, that's awesome, right? So now he is the focal point of the offense. Everything has to be done his way. So if you see a defensive dip a little bit, that's why. And you're also seeing that's why it's not like he's being matched up against the opposing team's best player every night nowadays. And even if he's like being used as a stopper role, it's in select situations. It's because you have to find this balance now. You're not going to see defensive stopper Jrue Holiday, I'm sorry, for a bit, until everyone gets healthy again. But until then, he's going to be pouring in buckets on the offensive end. Like, if you look at last night's game against the Pacers, the Papers, he was just bullying Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
It was not fair.
It was
I don't know what.
It was
I
disrespectful.
do not know. Yeah, I do not know what Malcolm Brogdon did to Jrue Holiday. Maybe Justin told him a bad story or something, and then Justin told Jrue that he's like, oh yeah, I told this to Malcolm Brogdon. And then Drew's like, oh man, I can't let this guy think bad of me. I'm going to go disrespect him on the court. That didn't make any sense, but whatever.
No, that's okay.
I'm trying. So it's just, we're seeing good, efficient shooting. And that's because he's going to his bread and butter. He's going and he's posting up. He's getting to the rim. You mentioned he's taking less threes. And it's just like the less threes he's taking is leading to better efficiency from three-point land as well. He's taken, like, against the Pacers, 1 of 2. Against the Celtics, 2 of 3. 1 of 2 the game before. Like, less volume is more efficient. And also combining that with the efficiency of him shooting more at the basket. And that's how you're getting these super productive Jrue Holiday games.
Yeah, and just to hammer home some of your points, this is the least amount of steals Jrue Holiday has ever accrued per game while averaging at least 30 minutes per game. So he's at 1.4. He also had 1.4 in the 15-16 season. He only started 23 games. I think that was a tough injury season for Jrue. He only played 65 games that year, but averaged 28.2 minutes per game in New Orleans. So the only other time he was at or below 1.4 was his rookie year. So it's basically like the least turnovers he's generated. His blocks are also down. He was at 0.8 blocks per game, which is a ton for a point guard for 3 straight years. He's at 0.5 this year. That's the lowest since that same 15-16 season. So we're not seeing the same level of, deflections. He's not being asked to clamp guys all game. And I think, especially lately, I think some of that has just been, trying to get healthy. And also, all year, he's played on a reduced firepower version of the Bucks, as opposed to last year when the team was largely healthy, had Brook all the time, had Khris outside of just a brief stint. Obviously, Jrue didn't play some last year because of COVID too, but this year, Giannis has missed time. Khris has missed a bunch of time. Brooks missed the whole year. Donte's missed the whole year. He's had to focus more on the offensive end, and we're seeing that. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw his scoring average tick up. I mean, significantly probably sounds like a stretch. He's at 16.4 right now. Might get up to like 18 by the time everyone's back.
It has to happen. Because who else is going to create offense on this team besides him and Bobby Portis?
Yeah. Yeah, Grayson Allen has become a question mark, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Grayson Allen, but that's a genuine question. Are there any other shot creators on this team besides him and Bobby?
A little bit of George Hill. A little bit. Not much, though. We've seen it. Not a ton.
Just in spurts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
just about the defensive impact, going back to that. In the game against the Knicks, I don't know if you caught that one.
I don't think so. Yeah, okay. I don't think so.
But in the third quarter of that game, Quentin Grimes was going nuts. He was going nuts for the Knicks. And unfortunately for him, he's now in health and safety protocols. It was his first career start.
Good for him, though.
Yeah, he had a career high in points. He had 7 threes, and a lot of that came in the third quarter. And that's when the Knicks started mounting a comeback. And then they were just like, okay, Jrue, go deal with that. go fix that.
Yeah. Let's
and then
not
he did.
have that anymore, Jrue. You want to just go ahead and
you see he's scoring a bunch. Just don't.
Let's not let him do that. And Drew's like, okay.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Sounds good, coach. Good plan. But that's going to be the type of thing we see going forward. It's going to be situational. That's what I'm trying to hammer home here. And that game might even not be a great example because they had Giannis in that game. They had Khris in that game. So you might even see less and less of that going forward.
Yeah, which again is totally fine. Save it for the playoffs. And even in the playoffs, I think Jrue
save it for the conference and finals.
Well, and I think even in those series, I think could probably skew slightly more offensively than he did it in the last playoff run. I mean, you needed all the defense you got from everybody on that team, but if Jrue took a couple less possessions off by basically shooting step back threes pretty early and worked a little harder offensively, I think you can trade that for some defense, especially on a team with so many other great defenders. So this could be something that helps unlock an ultimately more productive version of Jrue just by kind of forcing him to do more offense, more or less.
I'm going to slightly push back on that.
Okay.
Because this team is built on its defensive identity.
I think it was. I don't know if it is anymore.
I think they still have those same philosophies. They just don't have the personnel. But they're still going to... That's going to be what they attempt to do.
I think so, too. I think they're going to need more offense this time.
And especially because their personnel isn't as defensive focused. You're going to need guys like Jrue Holiday to put even more effort in on the defensive end.
Yeah. I think they're going to need more from him offensively, too, though, is the tough thing.
Fair.
I just think they're going to need a lot of offense to win 4 series this time.
That's true. And especially when you have guys like Wes Matthews, who you're not seeing right now, obviously.
And Donte as well.
Yeah, Donte as well. And Brook.
I will say, so the team defense is clearly worse, right? Bobby Portis is starting. Grayson Allen is starting. They're poised to, if they can get and stay healthy and out of protocols, have many more guard defender options than after the Miami series when Donte went out. Like, it was just Jrue. That was all they had. Like, PJ had to guard Devin Booker because they just had no one else who you felt comfortable putting on those players. Khris is okay. He's not a stopper. Like, even just Wes and Donte, or just one of the two, like, that lets you, like, do what we're talking about with Jrue, where let him focus on offense maybe for some quarters, and then somebody gets hot or it's the end of a game, fourth quarter, whatever, then you can say, okay, thanks, Donte, get out of the way. Now Jrue will do this, and we'll get what we get on offense. I think that could be a better balance. We've seen basically they do the same thing with Giannis in every game, vice versa. Oh, not vice versa. They save Giannis's defense fairly often, and that's also just beneficial to them as a defense. But I think keeping him out of foul trouble, keeping him fresher is a big part of that as well. And just like Giannis, I think Jrue can certainly create some havoc, even if he's not on the ball, in defense every possession.
That's true. Let's shift back to offensive production, because it gets into the next conversation we want to have, and that's all-star.
Yeah,
because we're starting agendas here, everyone. We're pushing
it's
this
been
agenda.
A while. What was our last agenda? Like award agenda. We've done a lot of Pat stuff.
No, Wes getting considered for a vote.
One vote. No, I wanted one vote. I did not want him considered for a vote. I wanted him to get a vote, and it did not happen.
Maybe until we get votes time.
Oh, man. Imagine our ballot reveal episode.
Oh, that'd be fire.
Absolutely electric.
We'd absolutely take it seriously, but
Here's why Mamu was third on my most improved ballot this year.
Here's why Pat Connaughton is first on my MVP ballot.
Pat should get most improved consideration. That's real.
He should, honestly.
I don't think he'll win. Miles Bridges, LaMelo, maybe.
Hero.
There's a lot. Darius Garland seems to be good now, but
it's Tyler Hero's to lose right now.
Jared Allen?
Ooh, you know what?
The ballot might just be Cavs.
It might, honestly, and that's deserved. The Cavs are awesome.
Yeah, they're good right now, man. That's a good team.
But getting back to Jrue Holiday and his all-star consideration, like we mentioned, we're gonna need his scoring to uptick.
Yeah.
And do you know how he does that, Ty?
How?
He keeps playing like T-Pain.
Oh, finally! Like, you've been teasing this comp for years. I'm gonna go buy myself a drink and just let you say this.
So, everyone know, if you don't know who T-Pain is, you are not cultured.
Everyone knows who T-Pain is. Everyone knows.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't, you're not cultured.
He's been famous for so long that honestly, our young listeners might not know, and our old listeners might know more who T-Pain is.
That's depressing.
Welcome to age, my friend.
That's awful. I hate it. Yeah, I hate it here. It's like I'm like the kid. What's Will Smith's kid's name? I forgot.
Jaden or Willow.
Yeah. No, it's just like I hate it here. I want to go. But no, Jrue Holiday is T-Pain. If you look at the first couple games of that stretch you mentioned, where it's like 7 3s, 6 3s, that is T-Pain on auto-tune. You're like, this is good. This is like, you know what? If you're doing like this and you're producing well and it ends well, it's really good. But then you get into these last couple games where he's really, really bullying guys down in the post. He's hitting 2 of 3 from deep. And it's like T-Pain hitting you with the, what's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink. And you're just like, why don't you do that all the time? Why are you doing anything else?
Have you workshopped this? Because somebody else tweeted at me that Jrue Holiday is T-Pain, and I didn't know if they were just like already latching on to your comp that you've teased, or if you've been workshopping this.
No, this is the first I'm talking about.
This is I like this. This is, I especially like that you sang. I think this is going to be a great clip for us.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I like it though. I agree. I totally agree.
It's like, why don't you do that all the time? You have an amazing voice. Just use it. You have an amazing post game. You have an amazing ability to get to the rim and just destroy guys. Like, well, look at what he did to Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is a good defender.
And he's big. Malcolm Brogdon's big for a point. He's like 6'5".
And that's where his strength on defense lies. It's not quickness. It's not like anything like that. It's just pure power. And Jrue Holiday just like ragdolled him.
Well, we've seen him like throw back bigs with his shoulder in the paint. Like you'll see him get there and some like poor stretch four comes over to contest and Drew's just like, get the hell out of the way, dude. Like you're not stopping this.
And he's just going to hit jump hooks over like 7-footers, even though he's 6'3".
It's wild. His game is honestly wild.
Like do that all the time. You don't need to do all this fancy production and anything. Just go out there and be you.
Yeah. And I think that he has to lean into that more. Honestly, and I've seen a lot of variations of this. It's kind of similar to a take I had before the playoffs last year. I do think it's worth thinking more about optimal Bucks. Maybe Khris isn't on the ball less, but maybe he's driving less. Maybe more, like, again, I think more of his shots should be on movement. Again, we can clearly run a good pick and roll with Giannis, but I think switching how they're used just a little bit more when they're all healthy to make Jrue the guy who's moving with the ball more, because Khris is so much better of a catch and shoot player, but I think Jrue is so much better of a scoring at the rim player, and I think it's not really up for debate. Obviously, Giannis is first and foremost in everything, but I think those two guys need to work on a better balance of this, because I think they could both be scoring mid-20s on average on like random nights, like all the time, if they lean more into their strengths. Like how many times have we gotten to see Jrue kick out to Khris? It feels like not enough. Like that should be the default, because again, like if you don't pay enough attention to either guy, it's going to be a very good shot for the Bucks. And also throw in the Giannis factor. If you don't have two guys paying attention to Giannis, it's going to be a very good shot for the Bucks. So I do think it's worth reevaluating that. And it's not Khris slander. It's just making the best out of everyone's skill sets. Like that is as much about Jrue not being a great shooter as it is about Khris not being the best driver. And we've seen it here and there with Khris. It just is not consistent with his handle and getting to the rim. But I think with Jrue, we've seen, like, when Jrue is making shots early, he can literally do that all game long. And I'd love to see more of it. I would love to see the T-painification of Jrue and Khris, because I think you can get more out of both guys than the Bucks have so far, which, again, they've only been together for a year. This stuff does take time, putting these star players together.
Less than a year.
Less than a year, yeah. Well, no, they've gotten a year now, right?
When did the season? Didn't it start in December?
Yeah, I mean, well, they've been practicing at least for a year.
True.
Because Giannis signed in camp, right? So Giannis signed. Read Jordan Tresky's piece on the GSPN Substack, gspn.substack.com. A great 1 year back look at Giannis signing the Supermax, which is always a fun thing to read about. But yeah, I think this does show you though that this is Jrue's strength. Like literally, his strength is his strength. Let's lean into that more.
And it's, like you talked about earlier, just especially with Giannis and Brook out.
Yeah.
Like it's prime time for you to do.
Even just Brook out, honestly.
Yeah. And it's just like, also, we might be doing it again, Ty, in the sense that last regular season, we were like, we need to give Jrue the ball more. Khris needs to play more off ball. And then in the playoffs, we're like, please give Khris the ball.
Well, but I do think part of the reason, I mean, it was easy to sour on Jrue's offense in the playoffs.
That's true.
He took so many jumpers, though. He missed layups. He did miss bunnies in the playoffs. That's an issue, of course.
It felt like he couldn't hit anything.
He couldn't. But I think part of that is he needs, like, his fastball, like his primary thing, his go-to has to be getting to the rim. And I think he gets into trouble when he tries to start with the jumper and build out from there. I think when he starts with the getting to the rim and builds out from there, it's better.
It's like a halftime shooting competition. You start with the layup, then go with the free throw, then the three, then the half court shot.
And then
because you guys are idiots. If you choose the half court shot, you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
I agree.
We were doing a watch playback room. No, shout out.
Yeah.
For this Pacers game. I said watch play. It's just playback. I don't know why.
The URL is, I think, or the Twitter is at watch playback. That's what it is.
So, and then we were watching the halftime show, and it was just like, this guy went 1 of 10 from free throw in 10 seconds, and he was like, I'm going to take the half court shot. Yeah, you're definitely making that guy. You're definitely. He didn't. He came like 10 feet short.
What was the point? Why do they make you shoot the free throws if you get
because
to do
it's a competition between two people, and whoever makes the most gets to take the shot.
The other person made none? Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I listen, I bet he didn't want to take another free throw. He's like, hey, if I'm 10% on free throw and 1% on half court, but the money is that different, maybe it actually was worth it for that one guy.
You know what? Maybe you're right.
He was like, hey, I'm
he
not
came
making
like 10
either.
feet short, though.
Yeah, it was bad. Maybe he should have compromised and took the three.
Exactly. All about efficiency and statistics.
Yeah, but no, I think, and again, it's Khris can still have the ball and be on ball. I just think there needs to be more carve out for Jrue to do it more. And even if you're just looking at like the quote unquote healthy Bucks, which to me, as sad as it is, at this point this season, the healthy Bucks to me is everyone but Brook. That's the one guy who's supposed to be out for like months. So assuming the current healthy starters of Jrue, Grayson, Khris, Bobby, Giannis, even in that lineup, there should be more room for Jrue than last year's lineup because Bobby gives you so much more spacing offensively and is such a threat from the corners. I think they need to find more carve out for him to attack the rim because we're going to see over these next weeks. Let's see if he can still do it at this consistent level. I certainly think he can. And I think that's like a 23-8 kind of player. And he's not going to have that much usage when everyone's healthy. But I think he can get to that level of effectiveness, which, you know, it's like the Nets problem teams against the Nets have. Like, if Khris and Jrue are operating on a higher level offensively consistently, it just becomes so hard to beat the Bucks. Like, especially because Milwaukee offers more on the other end of the ball than Brooklyn's been able to. Although sure. Brooklyn has a better defense and offense this year because their team is weird as hell.
What a weird year, just in general. So you're mentioning 23-8. Does that get him into the All-Star conversation, Ty?
23-8 should. I think the issue right now is he's 16-6 or whatever. He's certainly gonna. I think if he gets hot right now, because I think voting should start somewhat soon, and it doesn't matter all that much for Jrue. I don't think.
No, because it's gonna be coaches. The starters are gonna be Trey and DeMar.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Harden and Jimmy not. Well, I guess Jimmy's a forward now.
Yeah.
Harden doesn't deserve
it. Harden is not starting. It's got to be Trey. It's got to be DeMar.
I hope
because it's not just fan voting.
That's true. It's
50. It's 50% fan voting.
What's the rest now?
Players. What?
The rest is players and what?
Players and executives?
No, I don't think so.
It's players and
there's something else. I don't remember what it is. Do coaches get a vote on that too?
It might. I can look it up.
But yeah, you're right. It's going to come down to coaches. I think the grim reality of the league right now is that there will probably be more than 12 Eastern Conference All-Stars because some guys probably will get selected and then not be able to play in the game because, again, that's just where we're at right now. Hopefully, media, which does not include us unfairly.
Yeah.
As far as we know, NBA slide through with the ballot. But I'm guessing that there's usually more than 12. There's usually one or two guys who can't make it. The way this year is going, I would certainly assume that to be the case. So can Jrue be like a top 6 guard? Probably. I think he's the kind of player that does better with coaches than just about anyone else, seeing what he does defensively. And I think if he clearly has the second best case on one of the best 3 teams in the East, if he carries the Bucks through this stretch, that's the narrative part, right? Get that narrative going of he carried the Bucks, he kept them a top 3 team despite all these
those
injuries.
Narrative voters.
And you got to peak at the right time. That's the dumb thing about All-Star. I'm looking, NFL Pro Bowl voting is going on right now. They're going into like what, week 15, 14 or 15?
Something like that.
That makes sense though. Like get most of the year. The NBA, it's like, hey, if you have a great first 3 months, nothing else matters. Like you're an All-Star.
Also, it lets you care about All-Star a little more because in the NFL, like no one cares about the Pro Bowl.
That's true. People wax and wane about All-Star too, though.
That's true. It's become more fun in recent years.
I agree. What's it called? Elam ending has been great for All-Star. Definitely agree there. So,
and especially when Giannis is winning MVP.
Yeah, that helps. But what do you think? Do you think Jrue has a legitimate shot? I mean, obviously, as you mentioned some of the names, there are some really good guards in the East this year.
Yeah, there's Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan. Those two are locks.
Levine is probably a lock.
Levine has got to be a lock. Beal?
I would not say a lock.
But he's definitely ahead of Jrue.
Is he? Do we care about winning?
That's true.
What are the Wizards now? What are they? Eighth. They're in eighth.
Yeah, they have been taking a tumble.
Beal is shooting 46% from the field, 27% from three this year.
It's not great.
5.8 assists to 3.4 turnovers per game. Less than 2.
That's a yikes. But it's still like it's
22 points a game.
Yeah. And once you get past him, like Jaylen Brown, I don't think he's a guard.
Yeah, so I'm looking at NBA.com. They have Tatum as a guard.
Yeah, I see
Tatum
that too.
a guard?
No, he's more of a 3 or 4.
I would say he's pretty easily a forward.
Yeah. Brown is definitely a forward. Then you get into guys like James Harden, LaMelo Ball.
Van Vliet should probably go.
Pains me to say, but yes.
He's been their best player. I think he's been very good. It's going to be close. There's a lot of these guys who are pretty damn close. Garland has a case. Brogdon won't go. See, that's the thing. No. So if you can easily write off Brogdon's nearly 20 points a game, I think a lot of these guys are going to. LaMelo should go. We'll see about Tyler Herro. He's got a case now.
Just why?
He might be the one guy they put in for Miami. That might be how that goes.
I don't like him.
Hey, Milwaukee kid.
We don't claim him.
I do.
Why?
Not many of us have done anything.
I mean, we got the Warriors, boys.
Okay. I said done something.
What? They have the best record in the league or second best record in the league.
We don't have the ones that are making that happen.
Yeah, is Tyler Herro giving Miami the best record in the league?
No, but he's putting up 20 a game.
On terrible efficiency.
Is it terrible?
He's shooting 44% from the field.
Yeah, but 38% from three.
Yeah, he's putting up 20 shots on nearly 18 or 20 points on nearly 18 shots a game.
That's not that bad.
That's not good.
It's not great. I mean, he's not. He takes a lot of. He's a jumper shooter. That's his issue. But the problem is
Trae Young is averaging 27 on 20 shots.
Well, Tyler Herro doesn't go flying in other directions and draw a million free throws a game.
Neither is just Trae Young anymore.
He still gets triple the attempts that Herro does.
That's true. Because Tyler Herro doesn't even go to the rim at all.
No, he doesn't. The problem for Jrue is he's 19th in scoring in the East. Like, Tyrese Maxey has more points per game than Jrue Holiday does this season.
Oh, God.
That's wild. So he's going to have to step that up. I mean, I think plain and simple, if you're
he's got to be T-Pain.
He's got to lean into being T-Pain. Like, it's tough when you're under Kelly Oubre, Gary Trent, Dennis Schroeder in scoring. If Dennis Schroeder's a guard, Tatum should not be a guard. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But really, I just want a Buck besides Giannis to make it, because Khris now has no chance.
No chance at all. Jrue Holiday, he's got to be the guy. Even though he's probably missed the least time now, or at least going forward, because Khris is going to be out even more. And he's probably going to have the best case aside from Giannis. Giannis is an all-star.
Yeah, Giannis is locked. Giannis and KD are going to be the starting forwards. They might call Giannis a center to squeeze Tatum in as a forward.
It doesn't matter. That's all NBA.
Well, but I mean for the sake of this team.
I know, but for all-star, it's 2 guards, 3 forwards.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think Giannis will be they usually try to start a big-ish guy, I feel like. No? Maybe not. I guess it doesn't matter. But Giannis, KD. It'll probably be Giannis, KD, DeMar.
Trae.
Should Trae be a lock starter?
He's really good, man.
I guess. Yeah, he probably should.
And then...
They're still 9th? I thought there was an Atlanta resurgence. They're 9th. They're 500.
Yeah, but Trae Young is really good.
He's played all year? He's played all year. He's played every single game. I don't know, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of talent over there.
Is it?
Yes.
Who?
They have a lot of good players. They don't have another all-star.
We just talked about that with the Pacers.
But we said the Pacers need the guy to put it all together.
That's
Trey
true.
is supposed to be that guy. I think the fact that they're below the Wizards and the Sixers, who have had no players all year, is a little... And the Hornets, who've never even heard of defense.
You know what? Fair enough. So basically what we're saying is the guards are a little murky. So Jrue does have a shot if he continues scoring.
I think Trey is an all-star. I don't think he should be a no-doubt starter based on how that team has played. Just
Okay,
why, I don't think Beal should be a lock because he hasn't even played that well by his standards. But he's got Spencer 8 points per game over his last 2 weeks, Dinwiddie next to him. So it's tough.
He's too busy trying to get those brand deals.
The crypto, man. If you invested in Dinwiddie coin, you're probably feeling a little bit of pain right now.
Yeah. Did you see his company wanted to be the jersey sponsor of the Wizards?
Honestly, why not if the money is there? It's probably a conflict or something, but...
They wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
Even though he was willing to pay.
Well, he also tried to NFT his contract as well.
That's true.
It is funny to think about because the jersey sponsorships sound like such big money. But yeah, to anyone on an 8-figure-a-year contract, it's like, sure, I'll pay $2 million, put my face on it. Someone like Embiid should get really petty. Imagine if Jokic put, the silhouette of him pushing Markieff Morris on there. That's pocket change to Jokic. And also, I love that was supposed to be not a big deal, and he has not played ever. Markieff Morris has not played since then.
Yeah. I mean, don't start fights.
Fair. Again, not defending Markieff Morris, but...
Don't start anything.
Yeah. Don't turn your back after you. I didn't think the shot on Jokic was actually that bad, but I get why
I thought it was equally as bad. Just the thing is, Jokic is bigger.
Well, yeah, and we know Jokic is a guy who gets frustrated.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're going to shove someone and you turn your back, you're basically saying, I'm going to shove you with your back.
Yeah, it's a punk move. Okay.
You're never going to catch me supporting the Morris twins.
No, the Morai.
Yes, the Morai.
We've got, if I don't think that's all on Jrue. We've got a question from a listener I wanted to get to here in these last couple minutes.
Of course. Let's hear it.
Oh, no, I don't have the @ Hold on. Oh, no, I don't think I'm going to find it in time. Oh, no, wait. It's DM. I got it. From @Billy93831233. It's all the other Billies were taken. Pod question. Any chance the Bucks luck out and get an uber poor man Steph Curry signing situation with Donte? Everyone's scared off by injuries and they get a bargain deal. Potentially.
So, potentially. I don't think uber poor man's is good enough for this comparison between Steph Curry and Donte.
I think you can leave off the uber.
Sure. That's definitely the direction I was going.
Yeah, I figured.
You could, I get it in the sense, you're getting a cheap deal, right? For a guy who's going to be outperforming that. Sure. I think that's definitely a possibility. We've seen the flashes with Donte. We've seen him really come into his own defensively. We're still waiting a little bit more offensively, but he was showing those signs before he got hurt in the playoffs. There's definitely a chance. Is it going to be a massive impact? I'm not so sure, because this is a guy who's dealing with yet another injury. It's just a constant thing with him. He hasn't played a full season. So is it really going to be that sort of thing?
I mean,
don't know.
The scenario would say he gets healthy, he stays healthy. That's a big part, and he gets better from here. So,
it's a lot to ask for.
It is. I mean, it seemed like a lot with Steph too. I mean, his ankle stuff seemed degenerative. I don't know if a shoe company is going to make Donte its face and Taylor make shoes for him. Although I'm sure the Bucks are all over getting him the best possible stuff, because that's just what teams do now. I honestly think the most likely way something like this happens is he signs the qualifying offer after this year. So there's no trade. He doesn't play enough or doesn't play well enough for someone to trade for him. And the Bucks don't want to give him up for nothing when he can help you potentially win a title. I don't think going to be a ton of money out there this offseason So if Donte is still getting back to form, he doesn't want to sign like a long deal like Steph, and the Bucks probably don't want to sign him to a 4-year deal that's worth too much right off the bat either for the same reason. Maybe he signs the qualifying offer, so I don't know what it would be, probably like $5 million, $6 million. So maybe you just get one very cost-controlled year of Donte, and then he's very tradable during that year, and you can try to retain him. You'd have his bird rights the year after if you want, or if the Bucks aren't interested in doing that, he would then be able to go get a contract somewhere else, not have to worry about the Bucks matching or any of the other restricted free agency stuff. So that, I think, is becoming more and more plausible. It's also possible they get him on like a 2 or 3 year deal for relatively cheap. It really all depends on this season. But certainly, like, most of the time it doesn't work out like Steph. Most of the time the injuries do continue to be a problem. So I think I wouldn't hold out hope that a similar situation happens, but it's hard to say right now.
Yeah, it really is. And his qualifying offer is like 6.6 million, but I think there's starter criteria in there. So he has to play a certain amount of games,
yeah.
Which would...
Has he already, or is it only based on the last season?
I think it's only based on the last season.
Oh, so yeah, maybe it'll...
But I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Is that the higher one or the lower? That's the higher one, right? Or no?
What do you
The
think?
6 million.
Yeah, that's the high. That's
Okay,
the high.
So it could be even less, yeah.
It's like when you get to guys like Zion, it's different
gonna,
because
it's gonna matter.
He was
for
the number
Zion.
1 pick.
Yeah, he's not gonna hit starter criteria this year. That's
no,
been a big talking
his qualifying offer is like
it'd be
it's like 18 mil or something. But if he doesn't hit that criteria, it's like 8 or something.
That's a tougher gamble to take, man. If you're Zion Williamson, but same for Donte. But that to me is something that's becoming more. This might be one of the rare cases where the qualifying offer actually makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. I want to see him play, man. I feel so bad for him.
I know.
I hate that he had to miss. Like, he was so close. He was so close. That's got to be pain.
Less than 24 hours.
Hopefully he's back soon. Hopefully he's fully vaxxed and he can return those negative tests. So he can be back on the court soon. Because we miss you, Donte. We do miss you. We want to get Trace Leches going.
Yes, we need to.
I think Pat's approved it. So.
Oh yeah, Pat liked it. I think that was Cameo where he approved it.
Of course it was.
Pat's getting a buck. If Pat's approving your idea, Pat's getting a buck out of it.
We should get Pat to do a cameo on the pod.
If it's quote unquote business, it's like 10 times the price.
Oh boy.
Because I thought about like, what if we had Pat do our intro? I was like, I'd pay $50 or whatever, $80, but whatever it is. And you go on there, it says for business, and it's like $500.
Oh my God. Is that like 3-leaf consultation fee?
That must be. No, it's like that for everyone. If you type in Milwaukee Bucks on Cameo, there's a ton of Bucks on Cameo. They got Oscar Robertson on there, but they all have exorbitant for business charges.
What?
Oscar
the
Robertson's
Big O's on Cameo?
The Big O is on Cameo.
Wow.
I can't believe Pat's still on. Remember the Pat Cameo controversy?
Oh my God.
The thin blue line? Someone tricked him into disrespecting cops? That was the funniest, like, weirdest story of all time.
And on that note, I think we should wrap
Tucker Carlson just incensed at Pat Connaughton. Like, what a world.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the Gyro Step Podcast Network. If you did enjoy the show, make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Apple. 5 stars. And guess what, Ty? If you leave a 5-star rating, we're gonna read it out on the show. Ty, hit us with a review.
Oh boy. Why am I never prepared for this, even though we do it every pod?
Okay.
Hold on.
Well,
we're getting there.
While you're getting that, just make sure you're subscribed to the Substack. Make sure you're subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you tell all your family and friends about the show. And we're waiting for Ty here. That's basically what
we are waiting for Ty. I've got to scroll down. Honestly, we've been getting overwhelmed with reviews. Like, we've got a lot. We're very close to 200. I feel like we've gotten more. I think we should be at 200. They're still saying less than that. I know we did that one. I think we've got, we did. Bruce City Jrue was the last one, right?
I think so.
I think it was. We've got a nice quick one here as we're really pressed for time. Great pod, 5-star review, got to be 5 from G Blantern 88. Awesome content, great insight on the Bucks! ! Indians rule too! 2 exclamation points. I agree with all 3 of those sentences. Thank you for the review, G Blantern 88. Go Bucks and go Indians.
Yeah,
Indian people, not the former baseball team, to be clear.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out if you're also Indian, I guess. No, we do have a couple of listeners actually who live in India. So, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the homeland. But yeah, thank you again. Make sure you leave a 5-star review so we can read it out on the show. And we like it. It feels good. It is very wholesome content. But yeah, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time.